Hello.
Today I'm going to walk you guys through making sourdough start to finish. I have my sourdough starter here, and I'm getting out my scale and my flour. I usually use organic flour. I measure out 520 grams and then add 2 teaspoons of salt. I mix that with either a whisk or this handy little bread hook that I got. I don't know what the actual name is. Then I'm adding 90 grams of starter, of active bubbly starter. I fed mine the day before. And I add in 385 grams of water and then mix that up super well so there's no more clumps. Then I add it into the flour and mix it as well as I can. It's definitely very clumpy at this stage, but trust the process. Then I cover it with a wet towel and leave it for increments of about 15 minutes, sometimes 30. Sometimes I don't even look at the clock, honestly. I just kind of go by feel or just go whenever I can. I do these stretch and folds, preferably more than 4 times. So I'll go every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes for a few hours. And this is really great if you're just home doing dishes or just doing housework, if you can just keep coming back to it. And sometimes I've even left it for like an hour and it's totally fine. I'll just do stretch and folds, maybe like one every 20 minutes and then one after an hour, as long as the dough gets really nice and pliable. Make sure the towel is really wet too, or at least pretty damp, because you don't want your dough to dry out at any point.
It's not so simple, just you and me, and I'm staring in your eyes.
Then I leave it to rise in a warm place. Here I'm placing it by my floor vent, because that is the warmest place in the house right now. And I let it rise a few hours. I probably could have gone for longer, but I was ready to get this in the fridge at this point. Then I shape it, and I actually realized a while ago that my bread wasn't turning out very well as far as scoring it. I was trying to do a bunch of fancy scores and do like different patterns and designs, and a lot of my friends could do it, and for some reason it wasn't working for me, and I realized I wasn't shaping it well enough. So these days I try to shape my dough really well, and sometimes I do this like slap method where I just kind of slap it down and keep shaping it, but it works. And then I put it in a banneton and then put it in the fridge for 1 to 48 hours. So the longer it's in the fridge, the longer it ferments, and the more benefits you'll get from the dough being fermented. I actually ended up baking it the next morning, and this was a very stormy, dark morning. Like, we woke up and the sun was nowhere in sight. It was just a very cozy morning, a morning that I wish I had candles, but both of our lighters broke, and so I have candles, but I just can't light them, which is kind of sad. I preheat my Dutch oven at 450, and then when it's nice and hot, I put some flour in the bottom of the Dutch oven, take the dough out of the fridge, flip it over, put it in the Dutch oven, score it, and this time I kind of went for just leaving the designs of the banneton and then just scoring it once, but you can do all kinds of pretty designs. I bake it for 30 minutes on 450, and then I take the lid off and bake it for about 15 more minutes. Fresh out of the oven with some butter, there's nothing like it.